Welcome to another exciting episode of Uplifting Interviews with Total Strangers. We have Susie on board. Good morning.
Good morning.
And she was great before I met her. Now how are you?
Fantastic.
Okay, so another conversion. And as you know, it's my goal to make everyone watching this show and everyone I meet fantastic. So, you're off to the airport?
Yes.
For work and play?
Yes.
Where are we going to do that at?
First stop is Knoxville, Tennessee.
Tennessee, I love it.
I used to live in Tennessee, and I'm going to see friends. And then the next stop is Tryon, North Carolina. Okay. Which is just east of Asheville. It's in western North Carolina.
Okay.
And then Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm visiting a childhood friend of mine.
Okay.
And then I'm off to Springfield, Ohio, which is my hometown. And I'm reuniting with a lot of childhood friends and my family. And so I'll be gone 2 weeks in total. Okay. That sounds like a lot of pleasure. There is some work involved since I do business coaching. Okay. I'm a success coach for women. And so I'll be on the phone a little bit and hopefully meeting with some prospective clients. I usually meet one or two while I'm traveling, especially in an airport. Okay. So that's the next 3 weeks for me.
Well, it sounds like mostly pleasure, which I encourage. Yes. So, Susie, throw a shout out there for your consulting business for women. We want to help women as best we can, always.
Great. So, I have a coaching practice that I've had informally for probably 15, 20 years, formally for about 5. I am the Inevitable Success Coach, and I help women leaders and women entrepreneurs remove blocks that they can't see, often called blind spots, to get them to where they want to go. Whether that's growing their business, emerging to or some women are what I would see emerging leaders and they're ready to go to the next level. And so I help them get there.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
A lot of career work, a lot of guiding and coaching and getting them to see things from a different perspective. And
we have a lot in common because I'm a life coach and motivational speaker. And I motivate people. I motivate them one-on-one, as we're doing today. And I've got lots of answers because I've worked in over 79 different fields, been around the world, and I've met tens of thousands of people. So just on my life experiences alone, and no education whatsoever, I have some pretty solid answers. And I've solved a lot of problems, helping, I love to solve problems. And
what would you say one of the biggest issues that people have that they come and they say, I need work with you? What's one of the biggest challenges that you see?
Well, confidence. People don't have enough confidence. And so one of my sayings is life is a series of left and right turns. And you have to look at every turn you make and every decision you make as the right one. You can't look in the rearview mirror and say, I should have done that. And when you do that consistently, always believing that you're doing the right thing, builds confidence in that decision making. And with that confidence, it leads to success. And with that success, it leads to your happiness. It's all about being happy. And you're the only one that can make you happy.
Right.
You can't make your spouse or your children happy unless you're happy.
Yes.
So I encourage, and so those are steps. Every decision you make, going on vacation, not going on vacation, it's all the right decision.
Yeah.
Because you can't look back because you didn't make that other decision. So, and it's building your confidence, being fantastic every day.
Yeah.
People need to follow you, listen to you, pay you for your advice. They're not going to pay you if you're just good or well or fine. Yeah. They're going to pay you when you're great, which you were before you met me. But now, how are you?
Fantastic.
You're fantastic.
Yes.
A little bit more emotion.
Absolutely.
It's energy.
Actually, I like to say absolutely fabulous because my life is absolutely fabulous.
That's fantastic. Now, I had one gentleman, and before he did any coaching, I asked him how he was. And his answer was, I'm fan-fucking-tastic.
Yes.
Which I said, oh my God, I got to get you on the camera because you're the first person to say that. It's always good, well, fine, okay, all right. Yeah. It's bullshit. It's just it's blah. It's nothing. And so my mission is one person at a time, and eventually bigger crowds, to be fantastic, to spread fantastic authenticity
Yes.
to the world, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm glad you're fantastic now.
Yes.
And as a yoga teacher and as a business coach.
So before we got on camera, so I told him I have really 3 roles. Besides being a coach, I work in the technology industry. I do what's called agile consulting. Okay. And then I do yoga. I got my yoga teacher certification 4 years ago, I think. Okay. And it's really amazing to take some of the concepts of yoga and teach people about how to be in their body. And so one of the things that we talk about in yoga is called proprioception.
Oh, wait a minute. I think it was we had a little technical difficulty there. So about yoga?
Right. Yeah, so one of the things that's taught in yoga is proprioception. Now, I always botch this definition, and I'm sure my yoga teachers are going to cringe when they hear me say this. But the way I would explain it to someone who doesn't practice yoga.
Oh, shoot. Okay, keep
got it?
Recording.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still going.
Good. The way I would explain that is the way you hold your body and the way you perceive how your body looks are different. So it's the idea of getting an individual to be aware.
Hold on. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Third time's the charm. There we go.
It picked up where
Yoga.
we left off. That's great. Yeah, so yoga. So one of the things that's taught in yoga is this idea of what's called proprioception. And I know we've stopped and started here. Certainly, please apologies to my yoga teachers if I don't get this right. The idea is to think about the way we perceive, the way we're holding our bodies, and the way we perceive them, that we're holding them, are different. And so the idea is to raise awareness, which is what I do when I coach people, is raise awareness of their inner world and their outer world, and create some continuity, some integrity, some alignment. And so, you know, when you say, Susie, how are you? Fantastic. I am aligning my outer world and my inner world, mainly my inner world. That's coming from my inner world. But when I create situations around me that align with my inner world and my outer world, I can match that. There's an alignment and there's a flow that we have. And so that's one of the things that I bring from yoga into what I do as a coach.
Well, I would think yoga is a lot in the mind as well, though, right?
It's the body and the mind. It's both.
It's getting them in tune.
Exactly. The body, mind, and spirit.
I tried yoga once and I hurt myself, so it was too dangerous for me. So.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. They often are. I would say there's some misconceptions, especially when they see someone who is a seasoned yogi doing a pose and doing an advanced pose, and they think, oh, either that's not for me or, oh, I'm going to try that. That's great, but sometimes what you see with some folks is they've been doing it for 20 years, and they make it look easy. And I often tell people, start simple. Do a basic, simple class, nothing elaborate, and get an easy introduction into the practice.
And what about meditation? Does that go along with yoga?
It does. It significantly, yes. You know, originally, the idea behind yoga was to strengthen the body so you could sit in a meditative pose longer. So yes, that's an important part of the practice. Is yoga.
I try to meditate and just, you're supposed to not think about anything, maybe just your breathing. But I suffer from SADD. I don't know if you know what it means.
No.
It's very sad. It stands for super ADD. Okay, so it's kind of tough to sit there for a few seconds. So I'll count maybe 20 breaths and then I'll lose it. You know, that's it.
That's good enough.
20. Okay.
Even
good.
3 breaths.
Oh,
even
good.
3 breaths
is
fine.
I'm doing good then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, I've got lots of things going on, and it's like.
Yeah, even stop and taking 1 breath, 2 breath, 3 breath. That's
okay.
Fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's positive news for
just
today.
Just to pause
Just
the body,
pause
the mind. Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Didn't have to be elaborate.
So there you go, ladies. Start with 1 breath, then go to 2,
3,
and then go to 3,
and then you know, notice where you are, notice what you're feeling, notice what's around you, notice your sensations, all of them.
Right.
then do it again. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be as simple as one deep breath and becoming aware of where you are and what you're feeling in that moment. It brings you to the present moment. And that's the idea.
Now, that's my whole thing, is the present moment.
Yeah.
Like a child. A child is living in the present. They have no conception of what's for dinner, much less the tomorrow or the past. They're living in that moment. It's such a precious thing.
Yeah.
And too many people, I feel, are looking for retirement. They're living for retirement. They die before they get there, which is a damn shame. I was orphaned at 9. My parents died early on. And so I really think anyone who's gotten past 30 is really, ahead of the curve because they didn't get that far. But it's like today is a precious day. Enjoy it. Don't think about tomorrow. I mean, you got to plan for things, but to just plan for your future is,
I met a guy a couple months ago, and he said to me, what's on your bucket list? And at first, I really was a head scratcher for me because I thought bucket list. Because I couldn't come up with one. And then after a few minutes, I realized I live my bucket list. I created my life through a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, and a lot of support from a lot of people, a lot of fantastic people, to help me live a life that lines up with who I am, that lines up with my values, that be able to create income and circumstances that allow me to travel the world. I'm so awesome that you said you travel the world. To be able to travel the world, to be able to go and do what I want to do and live where I want to live. And it took a vision and holding on to that vision and staying true to it. And within, I've had this vision for a long time and just kept working my way one step at a time. As you said, the choices about life is there's a series of left turns and right turns, and trusting each one of those along the way.
Right.
And suspending any judgment about them, whether they were right or wrong. They were, and it got me to the next step.
Right.
So I feel very grateful, and that's why, yes, life is fantastic.
That's great.
For me, because I've worked very hard to create that and help create that.
And it is up to you, because you create your happiness. No one's going to make it for you. And you can't make your spouse or your children or anyone in your world happy until you're happy. And you've created that, so now you're going to give that to,
numerous other people.
And it's spreading it, and it's great to talk to you. I love when people got it together. Too few don't, but if you're just helping out people one at a time, just saying I'm fantastic is going to give energy to other people, and let's spread the word, huh?
Absolutely.
Thanks for participating.
Thank you.
Have a great trip.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to do a shout out to your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, website?
Website, and I'm on Twitter at Susie Hill, SUSIEHILL, and then my website.
Hold on. Okay, shout out to your
website.
Website, all the
Inevitable
social medias.
Okay, Twitter at Susie Hill, SUSIEHILL, and my website, which is inevitablesuccesscoach.com.
Why is it blinking like that? I thought it was about ready to go off. If you like what you're seeing, share, like.